Now to activate tyDiffusion, you activate directly in viewport because everything is done in viewport. How does he behave? It goes to install models regarding artificial intelligence, which are the ones we have already studied on some courses, for example Leonardo I. So those who have studied the courses of Leonardo I will be a little more advantaged. However, we will try to, refresh the ideas a bit. One important thing is the roots. Since in this case we are not in an external program. In the cloud, we're on our drive. In fact, he tells me, look, we'll go to program. Type flow diffusion regarding the path. Open Explorer, so in this case you see that he has local disk, program data, type flow diffusion, and here there are for example tools, style access, and so on. And here is an archive. But the important thing besides that is the fact that he has external paths. In these external paths, which are models, external diffusions model, external Imatech model, external control net, upscale, LoRa and so on, and he goes to install external elements. These external elements are very heavy, because unlike a cloud program where we make generate, such as in Leonardo that we have studied, when we go to Leonardo and Leonardo, I go inside my various prompts and tell it in the image generator. What does it do? A whole series of information is loaded. The information can be information regarding the model and all the other things that are directly in the cloud. In this case, he is not in the cloud. In this case, he has to take all the models which are available in this case, and so on. Who usually work on subscription plans? In these external programs, he downloads them and installs them precisely where we tell him. In this case, for example, it would be better to make a folder, and in this folder go to select external files by Kyuso's models path, another path. Here, for example, I made a folder, external local disk, diffusion, and I wrote models. And then I tell him search folder. Here we can write animated. Okay. Then animated diffusion. As for the animations, copy. Let's go. External files, diffusion, new folder, pastry. Let's go straight in here, and we tell him, select folder. Okay. Then directly here a control net. Okay. Copy. We will do the same thing. New folder. Pastry. Select folder. Upscale. This is to increase the resolution, because he doesn't have a very high resolution when it does the generation in I. And here too. New folder. Pastry. Upscale. Select folder. External lower. These are external effects, like filters, to be clear. Then we'll see something together. Copy. External LoRa. New folder here too. He takes away from us those who for him are precisely items that are not available. Here we have another element we can install. Copy. External file. New folder. These are precisely the much heavier ones. All these elements set folder. Here, if I wanted, I could introduce another pate. Here, restore to default. In the case I am going to install, for example, in this location, which is the location, for example, F. As for tyDiffusion, I tell him no, I want to install the main reference path here too. Not as far as models, law, etc. are concerned. I also want to install everything on that location, but since there are files there that we have seen installed directly in here, in this case it would be better to leave it in reset to default, and it resets only these elements. OK. One-click install. They're Fusion programs. Here it tells us that the installation starts automatically. And from open source locations, which are these, and will be installed directly in this directory. 12. If we don't like this, we can, as I said previously, also decide that the path as far as external elements are concerned, they can also always be these, so in tyDiffusion in this location, so also here you can make a new folder I have. Written tyDiffusion. I do like the original one with practically the same letters and go. Directly here in search folder. In this case, if I go install elements that are external, because in any case they are always elements that have a check for antivirus and so on, but being external things there is always a danger. OK, so I return directly inside. And I say one-click install and he tells me tyDiffusion. tyDiffusion. Engine.com. UI, etc. etc. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Installing. In this case, start opening this element and start doing the installation of the download of all these components as necessary as far as it looks at our tyDiffusion, and here you see it begins to do its installation, and when I go straight in here now, whole of Fusion or this location, so these elements that have been installed as we speak, you see that he continues his installation too. Gigabyte point of items, and let's go view the properties folder at this time arrived. To 5, but it will go up much more as regards all the elements to be downloaded, so it takes some time to download everything, as we gave it a different path. Obviously he many times tells you be careful that we are going to install on a path which is, for example, FTIDE Fusion, etc. etc. If you don't like this type of route, you can obviously stop the installation, but as we can observe in the end he continues to make its installation in the path that I have told it, for the moment. We have arrived at this moment. You see that the information rises to 10 GB at the end of this procedure. He tells us installation completed. OK, some BEX models must be downloaded during installation are downloaded and additional templates can be downloaded. That you can use here. He tells me import time from the practically the path that I gave it previously. It would be the route on my F drive, and we arrived at 19 and here. I find an interface in relation to the elements that I went to practically download.